We're going to be live there tomorrow. So Bulls Fest is from 2:30 to 4:30. Aaron and myself, we're going to be live there from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. talking to all the players and coaches from USF. So that's going to be a really fun day. Looking forward to that. Going to be a good time tomorrow as we get ready for the USF football season. And college football is right around the corner. I do have some college football stuff I want to get to today. I want to talk about, because I wasn't on the air yesterday, I want to talk about the NFL players who are allowed to go back to college, including Jack Pyburn of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we'll get into that story. But I thought today, and Mathis has big news I want to get into today too. So we'll talk about all that stuff. We might as well start with the Rays Stadium saga, I suppose, right? I went to bed pretty angry last night because I just feel like every time we take 2 steps forward, we take 10 steps backwards. And I went to bed angry at the politicians. I went to bed angry at the Rays. I went to bed angry at pretty much every person involved in all of this because I just want a deal to be done already. And for whatever reason, we just can't get it done. So I want to break down everything that happened yesterday and kind of explain if you're not caught up on this, because I'll be honest, when I went to bed last night, I didn't have all the details. I just went to bed angry because you read the headlines, and I read into it a little bit, but didn't fully deep dive. I'm like, what, I'm going to do this tomorrow, obviously, because I got to get ready for the show today. And the more and more I read up on it, I understand both sides of the story. So 2 Hillsborough County commissioners who recently voted yes on the Rays Stadium agreement in May are now saying that they may vote no on the stadium agreement. And this doesn't mean that the stadium deal is dead, but it means the Rays have a real problem at the county level now. Before, it was all at the city level. And I'll get to the city in a minute because I think the city of Tampa is kind of a pain in the butt as well. But at the county level, this blow really hurts because the county originally approved the deal 5-2. So the 2 commissioners are Chris Bowles and Christine Miller. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not sure. I'm not a huge politician guy. The only reason I know any of these people is because it goes back to sports and it affects my sports. Otherwise, I don't live in Hillsborough County. I live in Pinellas, which, my tax dollars aren't obviously going to the stadium, but I want the stadium, and if I lived in Hillsborough, I would still support it. So what changed when they voted in May? They were voting on a non-binding agreement that basically said, we're willing to keep negotiating with the Rays, which we knew that. And now they're looking at the actual structure of the deal, and they're saying, wait a minute, we're not sure this works. They weren't necessarily voting to fully fund the stadium in May. They just agreed to continue negotiations. Now, Chris Bowles, his biggest problem is he flat out said he would vote no right now. And he has a couple concerns. One of them is the county guaranteed to get the revenue it's expecting. Is the county guaranteed to get the revenue it's expecting? He doesn't believe there are enough guarantees that the county will get the financial return that it's counting on. So that is a little bit of a problem, and I totally understand his concerns there. He's trying to protect his constituents. What happens with the development around the stadium is another big question that he has, and I've said that before. For those that have always said, oh, you never get your money back on a stadium, you're not wrong. It's the development around the stadium where everyone's supposed to get their money back, and that's the part that's holding all of this up right now. Because the stadium isn't supposed to stand alone. The plan depends heavily on restaurants, retail, residences, offices, other developments surrounding the ballpark that are going to generate property tax. We think those will still be a thing. We don't know. The governor kind of threw a big loophole in all of or a big wrench in all of this a couple months ago. So Chris Bowles wants more guarantees from the Rays that this development will actually happen. Another concern he has is how fast the Rays are moving. His argument is, why are we rushing this? This is a massive $2 billion project, and we're in a hurry. And I kind of understand. It's not like the Trop is a complete dump. We just poured, $60 million into it and renovated it? It looks pretty good. But at the same time, we're rushing it because this has been in place for like 20 years. Look, I've only been here since 2019. I'm sick of it. I can only imagine For those that have been here the entire time, how annoyed with the story you have to be. And that's why you're like, well, that's why you're rushing it. This is taking forever. We're moving at a snail's pace here. Now, Chris Bowles said he would originally vote yes because the race had a deadline involving state funding and he wanted to keep negotiations alive, which totally makes sense. But now he's questioning why everything must happen so quickly. So Christine Miller, she is the other county commissioner who is now talking about possibly voting no on this. Miller is focused heavily on Tampa's side of the financing, and this is the part that's kind of annoying me about the city of Tampa. The original May deal called for $180 million from Tampa, $100 million from the city's Community Redevelopment Agency, and $80 million from the Community Investment Tax. That is the CIT, which has been the most controversial one. But that structure recently changed. Because we know Bill Carlson has gotten involved, right? And now all of a sudden, the agreement looks a little bit differently. So now the city is apparently considering an $80 million loan rather than using that CIT, the Community Investment Tax, while the Rays would potentially take out another $100 million loan. Now, these loans would be repaid using property tax revenue from the development around the stadium. And Miller's response is essentially, hold on, how can we count on tax revenue from development that Tampa hasn't even approved yet? And that's why I'm annoyed with the city, is because all this development needs to happen around this ballpark, but the city has yet to approve the zoning. Tampa City Council, in fact, recently rejected a land use change that was needed to allow the type of high-density development planned around the stadium. So Christine Miller is saying don't ask the county to put more money into the stadium until Tampa guarantees the surrounding development can actually happen. So it makes sense. I get her side. What the city of Tampa is doing, I don't know. If you want the Rays, you got to get some of this stuff done. It seems so basic. So Christine Miller is saying you can't borrow money based on future tax revenue if you haven't guaranteed that the development producing the tax revenue will be allowed to exist. So that is a legitimate financial argument, regardless of all the politics that are surrounding the situation. And that's why I find this conversation even more annoying than ever. Now, Miller called this new arrangement the Carlson deal, referring to the Tampa City Council member Bill Carlson, who we've had on the show before. Carlson has been heavily involved in trying to restructure the agreement and is also running for Tampa mayor in 2027. Miller suggested the deal is changed based on Carlson's political ambitions. I've said that, and we've all said that. All of a sudden, this guy's running for mayor, and all of a sudden he's pro-stadium, and he's meeting with Ken Babbitt, and he's doing all this good stuff. And I've been saying for a while, it looks like he's trying to make himself look like a hero. And if he can get it done, I'll let him be the hero. But if he doesn't get it done, he's going to look like a clown at the end of the day, just like the rest of them. So Carlson has been heavily involved in trying to restructure this agreement. He's also running for mayor in 2027, as you know. And now you've got the Rays versus the politicians. You have Tampa versus Hillsborough County, City Council versus County Commission. You've got commissioners versus Bill Carlson. And it's one giant mess. So they voted yes before, but that wasn't the final deal. Remember, the May vote essentially was permission to keep negotiating more. Bowles is currently a no. And Miller wants the development guaranteed. The stadium surrounding development is supposed to generate the property taxes that help pay back the financing, and Tampa hasn't guaranteed the zoning yet. Why? What are we doing, Tampa, that we have not guaranteed that yet? So it is a financial and it is a political fight between the two right now. Now, I don't think the Rays are necessarily losing the stadium deal because politicians suddenly hate the stadium. I think it's in danger right now because the financing of the stadium continues to change every single day, and we can't come to an agreement how we're going to pay for this thing. Now, the other day, Ken Hagan was on this radio station with the Pat and Aaron show, and he said there was an 85% chance this gets done. I told you I was at 65%. I might have come back down now to 60% because I've told you before, I think leadership in Tampa is a clown show. I don't trust any of them. None of them can get on the same page. I'm disappointed in everybody involved, including the team. I'm sure they have their issues too. And everyone just needs to get on the same page already because I'm tired of the drama and get it done for us. We have a first-place baseball team right now, but I'm talking about the stadium they might play in a couple years. I'm tired of having this conversation. But I can't not talk about this because this is the biggest story in Tampa Bay right now. On a football Friday, nonetheless. So, Hagan said 85% chance the other day. I told you I'm at a 65. I'm now back down to a 60. I'm not going to let this entirely just derail my opinion. But where are you in the percentage chance that this stadium gets done? After hearing what I just laid out. Did I do a good job, Chris, explaining everything that's going on? Did that all make sense?
Yeah, and I think you went very much into the detail of the little things, too, that really are big things, but they sound like little things in the grand scheme of things.
I think out of all of it, I think I'm more disappointed in Tampa, the city, than the county and the team. I think I'm disappointed in the team, or Tampa, the city, and then the county, and then the Rays, in that order. Because all three of them are involved. And they're all not coming to an agreement. So what percent chance are you at that this gets done? Ken Hagan says 85%. I'm telling you I'm at a 60. Still think it does. Slightly more than I think it doesn't. But it's hard to get me all the way there. 888-388-0957. I really want to hear from you guys this afternoon. I really want to know where your mind is on this and where your thoughts are. This is a show where your opinion matters, and I want to hear your opinion on this topic. Now, if they do end up building a new stadium, I believe that they should contact my friends over at Reese Windows and Doors because they've been installing factory direct impact windows for over 50 years. They are a great sponsor of this show. I appreciate Reese Windows and Doors being part of the Nick Wize Show. So many of our listeners have gotten a free quote right now at reesewindows.com. We've had listeners call them 1-800-GOT-WINDOWS and have had a great experience with Reese Windows and Doors, and they're going to take care of you as well. And right now, if you want to test your luck, you could text the word WOW to 20129 for a chance to win $25,000 in new impact windows. Reese Windows and Doors, they are a proud fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital.